what do you think you can learn about, ways to stop sexual violence and harassment in our culture? Like, what tools do you think exist through social media?
I think we can like learn how to talk to people through, there's like different hotlines that we can reach out to, there's different places we can go to, and we can get the resources we need from those places.
What do you tend to hear girls called, right, when they mess with boys?
A whore, a bop,
a tutti,
a smoochie, a munch,
a eater.
With that in mind, right, if we're talking about statutory rape and we're talking about someone who's not old enough to consent, what's the danger of those words that we use?
It can hurt them, you know what I'm saying?
How would it hurt them?
I feel like that just makes them feel invalidated.
Yeah.
And then it'll just, I feel like also them being called that and not kind of getting educated on why it's bad, they're just going to keep going into those situations. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's one way that it'll affect them. It's just them keep going. They're just going to keep on going into those situations.
Or it's gonna make them feel like it's their fault.
Yeah.
Too, and it's like part of their victim and stuff.
I feel like it starts with everybody because I feel like it's more normalized now, like all those words or whatever. So I feel like if we try to minimize the amount that we're saying that, or like who we're saying it to, and just not throwing it out, like that would be like the first start, because people just be using it as like fun.
It like discredits actual victims. If you just like assume that everybody's lying, then like people who are actual victims and are actually like going through stuff or have actually been through something, it discredits them. Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time on social media, so I do see a lot of the stories of like when women come out and talk about like being sexually assaulted or raped or like going through domestic violence, and people either tell them that they're lying and making it up for attention, or people like completely blame them and say that what happened to them was their fault. So I feel like that can be really damaging to the person who went through it, because they already had to go through it, and now they have all these people on social media who don't even know the full story and weren't even there for it, telling them that like they're lying or that like it was their fault. So
If when we are together with her, like the more people there is, the more people that unite together, the louder your
voice will be.
Yeah, the sooner you'll probably be heard. That's why protests work. If I'm there at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, duh, why wouldn't? That's weird if you wouldn't. It's you out of human decency. That's what you should do. Stop
Right.
the situation. Yeah. Right.
Principles, right?
Right.
Like, if you're violating the safe word, it's like you don't care. You're going on.
Yeah.
Like,
It's more than just a charge. You're
Bypassing
a
somebody.
sex offender.
You bypassing somebody's consent.
yeah.
Right,
At that
bypassing.
point, it's not consensual.
Right, exactly, because
The person feels entitled.
right, exactly, because to
That's
many
the number
people,
one. That's the number one word is consent. That's really literally it.
So-
But at the end of the day, what happened to that person is wrong. And you and me, if you don't say nothing, or if that person don't say nothing, it can get worse. I mean, make matters worse. At the end of the day, if it gets worse, that's what nobody wants. Even that person who's going through it. So I mean,
We should all come together as like a community and address it. It should be like I mean, it's already on the law, but I feel like the law doesn't take it serious.
nah, it should definitely have more focus.
Yeah, more, yeah, because there's a lot of stuff happening right now that nobody is aware of, and we don't know because, you know.
But you can tell by their body language.
Yeah, what if they're
Body language. Sometimes they don't know. Like they step aside.
I could say yes, but my body language says no.
You should automatically know when a girl doesn't want to do something.
Yeah, that's true too.
That doesn't go for everyone because everyone feels entitled at some point.
right, because
Yeah.
many people automatically believe that they're entitled
Especially in
to sex.
relationships.
Like,
Right.
oh, this shorty likes me, so that means she wants to, even though she's not saying nothing.
Yeah. Where I'm from, if we ever heard somebody around the neighborhood doing something like that, there'll be repercussions to it, because we just don't like where I come from. We just don't stand. Like, as men, we don't stand on that. And that's just wrongdoing. So yeah, there's repercussions 100%. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are scared to do something about it, because whether they've been through it, whether they just don't want to get involved. what I'm saying? But I feel like there's other, contributions that could be made, like, like we said earlier, more focus onto it, more like church, like even charities, raising money, putting that into so we can get, the information out to other kids at other schools,
So what have you heard of rape before? What did you define rape as when you heard of it before?
As somebody like touching somebody else in a way they don't want to be touched in, like, but like sexually performing something on them.
Now, you break up.
And he says
The
he's gonna
recording
leak it.
was consensual or non-consensual. It could go both ways. They leak it if they get mad at you, and it's called revenge porn. Because it's porn of you.
That happens a lot in our generation, actually. Where
happens
you
all
send
the
a guy
time.
like your nudes or like your pictures and stuff, and they be like, "Well, if you don't get back together with me, I'm gonna send it to your mom or something."
Right, and that works against consent, right? And boundaries, right? Because if you agree to do something in 1 second, right, and then you don't agree to do it later, right, that's okay, right? Is that wrong? No, it's not, right? If you have consent and it changes, it's allowed to change.
So one, I think about like people who are vulnerable to it, which is, what I'm saying, the stereotypical woman. You feel me? Because obviously there's guys out there who like to take advantage, and a lot of women out there who just casually minding their business, walking home from a club. You feel me? I'm having a night out, so that's really comes to mind. In the men perspective, there's a lot of like overlook on that. You know what I mean? As a guy who I've experienced my fair share of like weird experiences, nobody would believe me, you feel me? So it's like, that kind of hurts. But I do think about that a lot.
I think my biggest message would be to teach both of your kids or all of your kids. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter if they're a boy or a girl. I would say don't discriminate. Teach every single one of your kids how to protect themselves and other people and what to look for.
I would tell everyone to educate their kids on sexual assault and not to tell people not to wear clothes because they make them look like sluts.
Learning boundaries, respect, and consent, of course, because that's like a big thing. Consent is a big thing because you just wouldn't want anyone touching you without your consent.
Well, with sexual assault and rape, it's not just one gender that can happen to, it's multiple two at the same time. Because that's what most people don't realize. So that's what most law enforcement doesn't realize too. Because if you do call a police or whoever you want to about it, they're not gonna believe you about it. They're probably trying to laugh you in your face if you remember. Just take it seriously with women too. At the end of the day, it should be respected with everybody. No one wants to be done like that, but at the end of the day, you gotta show the same respect that you want for your gender.
I would tell my future kids to never listen to the quote, "boys will be boys."
One thing that I would tell somebody is, like I said previously, if you see something, say something, because that's very, very important.
One thing I take away from this program to tell somebody is that this program gives the basic information you need, whether in the future, whether that's personal or, with a job, with your family, things like that. And I think that's helpful for us youngsters,
That's my boy.
Worked out.